Welcome to English Story 2 Day. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
My name is Anna. I was 25 years old and I needed a job. I had no family to support me and I wanted to build a better future for myself. One evening, while scrolling through job postings online, I saw an advertisement. It said, "A widowed father needs a nanny for his 2 children. Full-time, live-in. House located in the rich area of the city." I read the words again and again. The pay was good. The job included food and a room in the house. It sounded like a big opportunity. I took a deep breath and sent my application. A few days later, I was invited for an interview. When I arrived, I could not believe my eyes. The house was like a palace. The garden was large with green grass, tall trees, and flowers everywhere. The front door was tall and heavy, made of dark wood. I knocked softly. The door opened. A tall man stood there. He had dark hair and eyes that looked very tired and very sad. His face was serious, with no smile. "You are here for the nanny position?" he asked in a deep, quiet voice. "Yes, sir. My name is Anna," I said nervously. "I am David," he said simply. He did not smile. David showed me around the house. Everything inside was expensive big carpets, shiny furniture, and golden lights, but it felt very cold. There was no warmth. On the walls, I saw many pictures of a blonde woman. She looked beautiful, but sad. Soon, I met the children. Twins, a boy and a girl, 4 years old. The boy was Ethan. The girl was Lily. They were small and quiet, hiding behind their father's legs. They looked at me with big, round eyes but did not speak. "This is Anna," David said. "She will be your new nanny." The children stayed silent. The house was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Then David explained their mother, Isabella, had died in a car accident 1 year ago. That explained everything. The sadness, the silence, the heavy feeling in the air. I understood then this job was not just about feeding the children or playing games. It was about bringing back some light into a house full of shadows. I needed the job, so I accepted. I moved into a small room upstairs. It was simple but cozy. It became my safe place. Every morning, I woke Ethan and Lily. At first, they looked at me with blank eyes, saying almost nothing. We ate breakfast together at the big kitchen table. They ate quietly, never laughing, never smiling. After breakfast, we played a little. Sometimes in their playroom, sometimes outside in the garden. In the afternoons, I read them stories. They listened carefully but never laughed. In the evenings, I tucked them into bed. I sang soft songs, hoping they would feel safe. It was not easy. The children were like little birds with broken wings. I tried many ways to make them smile. At breakfast one morning, I made silly faces while holding a spoon like a mustache. Lily covered her mouth and gave a tiny giggle. My heart jumped. That was the first time I saw her smile. Another day, Ethan was stacking blocks in the playroom. I pretended the blocks were a castle and spoke in a funny voice. "Good morning, Sir Ethan, the brave knight." He laughed softly. It was a small laugh, but to me it was the most beautiful sound. From then, every day was a little brighter. We played hide and seek in the garden. We painted messy pictures with watercolors. Sometimes we baked cookies in the kitchen, and flour ended up on our faces. At bedtime, they started asking me, "One more story, please." The cold, silent house was slowly filling with warm sounds, laughter, chatter, footsteps. One evening, I was drawing with the children. We made a big picture of a fantasy world, castles, dragons, and magic. Ethan and Lily were laughing loudly. When I looked up, I saw David standing at the doorway. He was watching us quietly. His face was different. His eyes were softer. "They haven't laughed like that in a long time," he whispered. My heart beat faster. That was the first time he spoke to me in a personal way. One Saturday, a woman arrived. She wore expensive clothes and had sharp, judging eyes. "I am Margaret, Isabella's sister," she said coldly. From the start, she disliked me. She told me how to cut the sandwiches. She said I was too friendly with the children. Later, she cornered me in the kitchen. "You think you can take my sister's place?" she asked angrily. "No, of course not. I am only the nanny," I said nervously. Her voice dropped low. "David cannot love. He is a cold man. Don't fool yourself." Her words cut deep. One afternoon, I was putting a book back on a high shelf in the library. I stood on a stool but slipped. Two strong hands caught me. "David." For a second, I was in his arms, my face close to his chest, his heartbeat fast. "Be careful," he whispered, his breath warm on my cheek. The air between us felt heavy, electric. Something had changed. One night, a big storm came. The rain hit the windows hard. The power went out. The children cried in fear. I took a flashlight and sat with them on the bed. I told a silly story about a cat and a mouse. Slowly, they calmed down. Then David entered, holding a candle. His face glowed in the soft light. He sat with us, watching as the children fell asleep, holding my hands. "You are a miracle, Anna," he whispered. His hand touched my cheek gently. He kissed me softly. It was not long, but it was full of meaning. When Margaret saw the way David looked at me, she became furious. She shouted that I was stealing her sister's husband, that I was a gold digger. I cried and said I would leave. But David came to me, held my hands and said, "Don't listen to her. I was lonely. But you brought life back. Anna, I am falling in love with you. Please stay." 6 months later, the house was full of life. Ethan and Lily laughed every day. Sometimes they even called me Mama Anna. I no longer lived in the nanny's room. I shared the master bedroom with David. His sad eyes now shined with love. Margaret no longer visited. David told her firmly she was not welcome to disturb us. Our days became simple but beautiful. In the mornings, Ethan and Lily ran into our room, jumping on the bed, shouting, "Wake up!" At breakfast, David laughed as the twins tried to steal pancakes from his plate. On weekends, we visited the zoo. Lily loved the giraffes. Ethan loved the lions. In the evenings, we sat in the garden, watching the children play tag on the grass. At night, we read bedtime stories together, sometimes David, sometimes me. The children always begged for one more story. The big, sad house had become a real home. One quiet evening, after putting the children to bed, David and I sat outside in the garden. On my finger was a simple, beautiful ring. "Are you happy, Anna?" he asked softly. I looked at him, at the house, at the life we had built. "More than I ever dreamed," I whispered. "I came to this house as a nanny looking for work, but I found something much bigger: love, family, and a true home. Soon, I will be David's wife. This house is no longer full of shadows. It is full of light, laughter, and love." If you liked this story, please like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories.